What are the principles of scaffold that we focus at when we teach our learners, when we teach scaffold to our students? First of all, it was mentioned already, but I would like to say about this as well. Involvement of the audience in the process of learning in real conditions. We have the production workshops, and we have educators who are teaching, who are training a special subject. And we do the training in real conditions, real environment. The second one is the use of reflection for understanding how they are learning and how they can control what they learn. Without reflection and self-analysis, we cannot move forward. You asked a very good question. What would you put into the center? I would say this is the next point. This is shifting the learner into the center and shifting the accent to the facilitation of the training, because they should work independently. It may happen that nobody would help the learner, and we need to train the person to work independently. Triggers for emotional training. We must use some stimulation for emotional response so that they would respond and accept, perceive it emotionally. Assessment of the progress with several methods and to make it visible so that learners would be able to see at what level they are now in order to continue the self-development. Maybe you noticed I didn't mark two principles with ticks. To open the class for community and involve others into the process of teaching. This is what we are working at. We make focus at dual education now, and I think we will involve the employers into our class so that we could engage them in our process. And in the future, maybe, we will plan this. We will work at this with the managers and with the self-government, the local authorities, so that they would be involved as well. This is what we should focus at. What is the goal? What are the objectives? To form the knowledge and skills in our learners. They are the managers, the heads of the methodological units, the heads of production units, directors, so that they would form the knowledge and skills to use the method of teaching and assessment to increase the quality of teaching in their educational institution.
Мы как трамплин для себя принимаю такой вариант для себя принял, что мы как трамплин, который даем.
We are just the beginning foundation for them, which identifies the direction for their work, which they will introduce. From the experience, I can see that many managers are interested in this methodology. And we organize seminars. Usually after the classes, they show interest, they want to learn, and we work with them. The next is, this is for creation the connection between different frames of competencies. We can integrate these competencies, integrate with general competencies, with professional competencies. And key competencies, we can integrate all these according to the needs of the learners or employers we can use them. For the use of modern methods of teaching and for the assessment, yes, it was new. Many methods, not all, but many methods, and we use them now. Especially, I personally liked pedagogical recognition of values, and I try to use it. For the use of principles, which can be used in the approach to teaching and learning. For the development of the syllabus and the plan of lesson aimed at the learning outcome in order to increase the quality of education. Some components which are included into the cards, they should agree with each other. This is the main thing that we should do. We should put forward the right objectives, which would correspond the needs, the learners, and which they would implement in life. If all three components agree with each other, I think the quality of education will increase. And one more. I didn't show it here. It was said just before that scaffold cards are for trainers, but competence cards can be distributed to learners. We tried this approach, but as our teachers, our audience are trainers themselves, we provided the assessment cards to them and the teaching cards, learning cards. We stimulated the learners and motivated the learners to study scaffold. That was number one. Number two, we provided an opportunity to our audience what they can work at. All 57 competencies that they look through. They began to understand and to make a plan. I need to work at this, I need to work at this. In our case, at the courses for improvement the qualification, we can work with learners on these competencies. These cards are for planning the lessons, but we tried that approach as well. The next one. Do we use these cards? Yes, we work with all 9 groups of cards, tasks, in order to build their lesson, then planning, in order to prepare the structure of the lesson, competencies, so that we could combine according to the needs of learners or according to the needs of employers. We suggested several methods on identifying the need. And the most effective method is to suggest some life situation. How will they find the way out? What do they need? What kind of needs they have? What they should learn in order to find the way out from the situation? And we began to include these situations into our syllabuses, methods of training and methods of assessment. Methods of assessment for identifying their learning outcomes. All groups of cards are used at the present time. The next slide. Usefulness of scaffold. I want to speak about this. What was useful about this? First of all, this is novelty of the tool for learners. Easiness and convenience in use, planning the results of learning and the use of them
В
in
реальной
real
жизни или
life,
в профессиональной деятельности.
in real life or in professional activities?
Теперь, считаете ли вы, что
Do
произвело
you
большой
believe
эффект, чем
that
ваши
it made
обычные
good
методы? Эффект,
effect,
несомненно,
better
есть.
effect than your usual
В
method?
чем
Yes, there
заключается
is
этот
the
эффект?
effect. What is the
Я могу
effect?
интегрировать
I
компетенции
can
в зависимости
integrate
от потребностей.
competencies depending on the
У
needs.
меня в учебной программе
In
написано,
my curriculum,
учебной
it is
программе, какие
written
компетенции я
which
должен
competencies I should
сформировать
develop
у слушателей.
in learners.
Я могу выйти за эти
I
компетенции
can
и
go
добавить
beyond these
компетенции,
competencies and
которые
add
улучшат
some other
состояние
competencies
тех
that would
профессиональных
improve
компетенций. Например,
the
умение
professional
обучаться.
competencies. For
Например,
example, ability
экологическая
to learn,
грамотность.
ecological
В
literacy.
некоторых случаях
In
предпринимательская
some
деятельность.
cases,
Но обязательно еще цифровая.
entrepreneurship activity or
Обязательно эффект есть.
digital. There is
Могу
effect with
связывать
this.
компетенции
I
с реальной
can
жизнью.
connect the
А
competencies with
также
real life
эффективно использую время для
and
планирования
effectively
занятий.
use
Мне не
them
надо
for
куда-то
planning
ходить,
the
где-то
classes.
искать,
I
что-то
do not need
вспоминать.
to go
Это
somewhere
передо
to
мной
recollect
готовая
something. This is
библиотека, с
just in
которой я
front of
могу
me.
все это
Real,
все это
ready
применить.
library in front of me that I
Далее,
can
с
use.
какими трудностями
Which
вы столкнулись?
difficulties did
Да,
you
не без
come
этого.
across?
Мы столкнулись с
Yes, there were
некоторыми трудностями,
difficulties. We came
про
across
которые я
some
хочу вам сказать.
difficulties. I want
Во-первых,
to tell about them. First of all,
очень трудно вместить большой
very
объем в короткое
difficult to
время.
fit the
Что я
large
имею в виду? У нас
volume within a
курс
short
повышения
period of time. We have the
квалификации
course
рассчитан
for
на
the improving the qualification,
144 часа. У
144
меня нигде
hours.
нету, чтобы я туда мог вставить скаффолд.
I do not
Приходится
have any other
как-то
lectures for
выкручиваться,
scaffold. I
приходится
have to
после занятий
think about something.
заниматься заинтересованными, хотят научиться. И вот в
They
короткое
are
время
interested,
такой
they want
большой
to
объем
learn.
было
Within
очень
a
трудно.
short period of
Это
time, it is
первая трудность
difficult to
была.
use
Но
such a
сейчас я
huge
расскажу, как мы
volume.
выходим с этого положения.
I will tell how we
Вторая
resolve it.
трудность
The
–
second
это разный
difficulty,
уровень подготовки
difficult level of
слушателей.
readiness and preparedness of the
Предыдущим
audience.
слайдом показал разный
I
старт работы,
showed them
разное
different
образование у них.
experience,
Вот
different
это
level
иногда
of education
очень
in the
занимает много
audience.
времени, пока
It takes a lot
кому-то
of
что-то
time
объяснишь,
to
пока это
explain
дойдет, а
everything
второй
to
уже начинает
somebody.
начинает зевать. Чтобы этого не было,
Some
вот
people feel
мы
boring if you
разработали
explain
некоторые
too
пути. И
much to
еще,
another person who is not
ну
so
это
well
не так уж и
prepared.
трудность, но желательно
This
было
is
бы,
not the
чтобы
challenge, but
разные
there is another
специализации
thing.
сферы
It's
обучения. Там,
better
например, когда приходят к нам курсы,
when
есть педагоги, есть
we
машиностроители,
have
есть
educators,
сельскохозяйственные,
some
и вот тоже интегрировать,
agricultural specialists,
приходится
and
интегрировать и
we
все это
have to
показывать, и
integrate
все это
all of them
разъяснять.
and to
Значит,
show everything
как мы
and to
выйдем из
explain
этого
everything.
положения?
How do we
Как
overcome
мы
these
выходим из этого
difficulties?
положения? Во-первых,
First
планирую
of
обучать
all,
скаффолд в
we plan
небольших
to
группах.
teach scaffold in small
Раньше
groups.
старались охватить
Earlier,
большую
we tried
группу,
to cover a large
чтобы
group
это больше людей это узнали.
so that more
Сейчас
people
мы
would learn
переходим
about
на
this.
другую
Now we move
концепцию. Это пусть будет
to another
малая,
concept.
небольшая
Let it be a
группа,
small
но с
group.
которыми мы будем работать
But
конкретно,
this would be a group
которые могут
with
уже у
whom we
нас
will
научиться
work
и
closely, who
передавать
can learn from
другим.
us.
Мы посчитали, такой каскадный метод будет намного
And then
лучше.
we will
Хочу
use
вот сейчас
cascade
попробовать
method.
работать
They
с
will train
малыми
others.
группами.
We
Ну, человек
want to work in
12-15.
small
Сейчас мы
groups, 12 to
добивали там до
15
30.
people.
Теперь
Before that, it was up to 30.
будем поддерживать, конечно, с ними
We will support
онлайн-связь.
online
Далее,
connection with them.
что мы хотим еще сделать?
What do we want to
Дифференцировать.
do? We want to
Значит,
differentiate.
как мы выйдем из этих положений? Будем дифференцировать.
We will
Значит,
differentiate
по уровню образования,
depending on the level of
и
education
по
and
специализации. Я
specialization.
думаю, такой подход у нас
I
будет более
think
такой
this
конкретный,
approach
и более
will
они
be more
будут обучаться.
specific
И
and they
еще для
will
нас
learn better.
сейчас спасибо,
And
Кристин, и
also,
спасибо, Кезл,
thank
за
you,
ваши
Christine,
рецензии.
for your revision.
На 2025 год наш
For
учебный год начинается
2025,
с 1 января.
our year
На
begins
новый
from
учебный
January
год
1.
мы
For the
в
new
учебные
academic
программы
year,
сейчас предложили ввести
in the
SCAFFOLD
curriculum,
как
we suggested to
изучение
include
зарубежного
scaffold,
опыта,
like learning international
предоставили им
experience.
программу.
We
Ну,
provided
думаю,
the
это у нас сейчас
program to them.
должно пройти,
I think it will be
потому
approved
что заинтересованность есть.
because
И
there
эти
is
программы у нас
interest
на
in
каждую
this,
группу где-то будет по
and
12 часов,
there
которые
will be
нам
12 hours for
достаточно,
each group.
чтобы
It will
их
be
обучить.
sufficient to
Теперь,
teach this.
Последнее, то, что хочу сказать. Да, все,
завершим.
да.
And the
Последнее,
last
что
point,
хочу
yes,
сказать.
the last point.
Вот эти занятия мы проводим
These
по
classes
принципам
are
SCAFFOLD.
conducted
Это мы разделили
according to
на 4
scaffold
этапа.
principles. We
На 4
divided it
этапа.
into 4
Это,
stages.
чтобы, ну, уже по своему опыту мы говорим.
From
Первое, что
our
мы начинаем,
experience,
это мотивировать.
we begin to
Первый этап
motivate,
мотивация. Вторая,
motivation, then
постановки цели обучения.
setting
Третий
up
этап
objectives.
определение и
Third,
реализация методики достижения
identifying
цели.
and
И
implementation of the
четвертое
methodology.
рефлексия.
And number 4, reflection.
Ну,